Okay, so the thing is I sold my FX3 for the Lumix S52X.
Toss and turn, never sleeping. Shadows move, the floors are creaking. Is that you, or am I seeing things again? Broken by those final moments. How could I have ever known it? We were meant to be until the end. You left behind a shattered mess of love and happiness, an endless nightmare as I try to make the pieces fit.
Now that's gonna stir some drama and a fight in the comments because I know some people are Sony gearheads, and me personally, I don't care what manufacturer makes it as long as it works and it does the job. And it as long as it inspires me. And for some reason when I got the Sony FX3, I thought that it was like the godsend camera. The low light was going to be amazing. I thought the stabilization was going to be, top tier. I thought all these great things. And while it is a great camera for what it is, it's just not the great camera for me. And I'm going to tell you why the Lumix S52X is most likely, honestly, the better buy. First up, and this has nothing to do with the waveforms or anything of that nature that the S52X has, or the shutter angle, because now Sony FX3 has that as well. What it really has to do with is inspiration to shoot and film and usability. I think that the customization on the Lumix S52X is amazing. I love it, right? I think the autofocus is great, just like Sony's. I haven't had any issues there. The stabilization is crazy. What's a gimbal at this point, right? Like, when I had the Sony FX3, I thought that the stabilization was gonna kill it all. I thought, like, this is Sony, I should be getting gimbal-like shots. But I still would have to use Catalyst Browse in the end. With the Lumix S52X, if you look at some of the shots that we took tonight, it is like a gimbal. And I'm doing this handheld with the top handle, and it just makes me feel like, with all the codecs that it has, with using SSD, being able to record 5.8K ProRes, full frame, all intra, right? All these things, these codecs, great autofocus, great stabilization, amazing looking camera body, the ability to, customize it. And, I could go on and on about the specs, but really it's the image quality and just the fun that I have with using this camera. It's the camera that I grab and look to when I want to just go out and film and have fun doing it while still having professional, tools at hand and a professional looking outcome. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, it's not all about autofocus. It's not all about, second base ISOs and all that. It's about dynamic range. I personally think that the Lumix S52X has better dynamic range than the Sony FX3. Why? Because I've used both of them. Secondly, when trying to stretch the image, regaining the shadows and then pulling the highlights back down, you recover the highlights way better on the Lumix S52X than the Sony FX3. I think the Sony FX3 can only go like maybe +3, you know what I mean? And then your highlights are just done, right? They look pasty and they look weird. Whereas the Lumix S52 and the S52X, all you have to do is go into DaVinci and take that highlight range and just bring it down, and it's almost as if it's like a film camera. It looks like film. So that's covered on the dynamic range. And moving on. And I just want to mention why I think that the 12,800 ISO is a little bit too high. My experience with the Sony FX3 was there was times when I was in a low light situation, but it wasn't a no light situation, right? I wasn't trying to do a documentary filming Bruce Wayne in his Batcave, all right? It was really, just situations like this. It's low light, but there's light around. I live in New York City. All right, like 12,800 ISO is gonna make me have to use NDs in low light. That is annoying and counterproductive if you ask me. They probably should have put internal NDs like the FX3, but they didn't, and this is another reason why the second base was annoying. And I'm not saying that the second base ISO 12,800 ISO is the main reason people buy the Sony FX3, but it is a big reason. And to be completely honest with you, Sony should have did a little bit better. And, you know, that Vlog is also something that S-Log 3 just wasn't cutting. Like, I think that Vlog is top tier for consumer, you know, level grading, or for professional level grading too. Like, the image just comes out looking way better. I don't know why or how. It just has that silky, clean look. And, you know, Sony FX3 has a nice look too, but I don't know. I just like this one better. I just think that I was expecting greatness with the Sony FX3, like anyone else that has watched reviews on it, that has watched all these, you know, interviews with those who made the creator film. We're all thinking if we get the FX3, it's gonna make us Hollywood and it's gonna make all our stuff look amazing. No. It's still gonna take work, but the way people make it seem as if the FX3, it won't take any work. You just turn it on, press record, and everything's gonna look great. No. But to me, that's what I get with the Lumix S5 2X. Everything just looks great and less fuss. And the battery life is probably triple, you know, as far as like being able to last longer. Probably get triple the time you would with the Lumix S5 2X over the FX3. And this is not me Sony FX3 bashing. This is just being upset at the fact that I thought that the FX3 was like this god tier camera. You guys made it sound like it was the best thing since sliced bread. And nah, I'm not gonna let y'all get away with that one. So, you know, we just gotta tell it like it is. And that's what we're here to do today. So that's my take on it. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
I know I'll be seeing you again.